Welcome to Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church on Zoom. My name is Catherine Osborne, and I'm your worship associate today. Beth Syverson, our Director of Music Ministries, is taking a very well-earned day off. However, we are very fortunate to be joined by a small village of guest musicians who are providing music for today's service. Barbara Schilling, who you heard playing our lovely prelude music, Liza, Susan, and Brian Shaw, Phil Chipman, Randy Coco, Amy Tompkins, Barbara and Steve Morihiro, and Beth Syverson is also providing music for today's service. Reverend Judy, our Director of Religious Education, already held classes for children earlier this morning, and she'll offer one for our youth after the service. Our minister, Reverend Sean Wilshire, is currently on sabbatical, but has a message for all of you.
Welcome to Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Sean Wilshire, and I am so happy that you're here. But I am also really sad that I'm not there to meet you in person, at least not right now. There are two things that I would like you to know. First of all, we have planned a wonderful worship service for you. We work very hard, whether I'm in the pulpit or not, that you get something that is inspiring, that lifts you up, that gives you hope. And I hope that you find that here. The second thing I want you to know is that you are surrounded by some of the most wonderful people that you are ever going to meet. And okay, I'm a little bit biased, but truly they're wonderful people. So I invite you to reach out to them, as I know that they will also reach out to you. So enjoy the service, and I look forward to meeting you.
Today, however, our guest speaker is the wonderful Reverend Marie Sanchez. Reverend Marie Sanchez was born and raised in Long Beach, attending schools there all the way through college at California State College at Long Beach. She learned about Unitarian Universalism at age 15 from a counselor at the Long Beach YMCA. Shortly after, she joined the U Church of the Larger Fellowship and has been a member ever since. It's hard for her to believe that it has now been 57 years. She moved to Washington State, where she was a director of religious education for UU Church with over 100 children. She was also a hospital and hospice chaplain there for 2 large medical centers. Returning to California more than 15 years ago to care for her mother, she finished seminary at our UU Theological School, Meadville, Lombard, and Chicago, in their modified residency program. She has served 3 of her congregations here in Southern California. Now as minister for our sister congregation, the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Laguna Beach. She loves preaching here for OCUUC. I'd like to invite you to open the chat box and, if you haven't already, say hello this morning. We'll be turning the chat off during the sermon portion of the service as not to distract, but we'll turn it right on afterwards. As Unitarian Universalists, we have many different beliefs, but we are one loving community. We are bound together, but not by a common set of rules or beliefs, but rather a covenant. A covenant is simply a promise that whatever our beliefs, we accept one another and encourage each other in spiritual growth. We affirm that all life has inherent value and that all existence is interconnected. We strive for justice and compassion in our deeds and relationships, and we are committed to creating a welcoming community, without regard to the traits that sometimes divide people. I extend a special welcome to visitors. If you are seeking a spiritual home, we hope that you'll find it here. After the service, we'll be placing everyone who remains into Zoom breakout rooms for 20 minutes of coffee and conversation. Everyone is welcome to join in, and it's a great way to get to know people in the congregation. Our worship begins with the lighting of our chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalist tradition, and as we light it, we say our unison affirmation. If you have a chalice or candle at home, we light them together. Please join me now as we begin. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. This we affirm together. And next, please join Liza and Susan Shaw in singing our opening song.
justice seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
I want to begin this morning by thanking Reverend Sean for inviting me into her pulpit, and to everyone in the congregation for your warm welcome. I especially want to mention the people that have been working with me so carefully and so hard. This is such a team effort here. Steve Morihiro has organized us beyond belief. Michael Morera, Katie Rates, Marilyn Friends, and our worship associate, Catherine Porter. Thank you all. And of course, to all those musicians whose names were mentioned this morning and we will be able to hear and enjoy today. This call to worship is from Choose to Bless the World by Reverend Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or to curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of the hands, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, bind up wounds, welcome the stranger, praise what is sacred, do the work of justice, or offer love. Any of these can draw down the prison door, hoard bread, abandon the poor, obscure what is holy, comply with injustice, or withhold love. You must answer the question, what will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. The choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with the good intentions of doing good. It is an act of recognition, a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery abide. There is an embrace of kindness and that encompasses all of life, even yours. And while there is injustice and evil, there moves a holy disturbance, a benevolent rage, a revolutionary love, protesting, urging, insisting, that which is sacred will not be defiled. Those who bless the world live their life as a gesture of thanks for this beauty and this rage. The choice to bless the world can take you into solitude, to search for the sources of power and grace, native wisdom, healing, and liberation. More, the choice will draw you into community, the endeavor shared, the heritage passed on, the companionship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith, the life of ritual and praise, the comfort of human friendship, the company of earth, the chorus of life welcoming you. None of us alone can save the world. Together, that is another possibility waiting. Welcome and welcome home.
Poetic phrases come to mind whenever I find injustice being done. And I wonder, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What can one do except be one, talking to two, touching three, growing to 4,000,000. Each of us is one. All of us are one. I go through phases when I realize it wouldn't be wise to try to bring it down. And I wonder, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What should one do except just be around, staying alive, putting out love, growing to 5,000,000,000. Each of us is one. All of us are one. Open your heart and let the love come shining through, and you will do what you need to do to know just where the other you is coming from. I am one. We are one. A tree is one. The earth is one. The universe is one. I am one. We are one. It just amazes me that I can be part of the energy it takes to serve each other. And I wonder, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What can we do? We're gonna run, reach for the sun, come together as one, show 'em how it's done. At the end of the day, we'll be able to say, love one.
When I asked Beth if it was possible for us to have this song won, she said, "Oh, we've got it." I was so excited. I had no idea that we were going to have a whole family make this possible. Susan Shaw, Liza Shaw, and Brian Shaw. I thank you so much. It really is the center of what I want to say today, and it's just lovely. Many people over the years have told me that one of their favorite parts of our Sunday morning worship time together is when we enter that time out of time, that space out of space of meditation. Some people regularly integrate meditation into their daily lives. I do, however, like you, many of us forget the practice. As we prepare for that special set aside time, I'd like to suggest some tools for our practice this morning and which might serve us later on. Let us begin here. Breathing your own beautiful breath, your natural breath. Become comfortable in your chair, which is supporting you. Sinking down while sitting as upright as possible for you, breathing softly. Listen to your pulse. There is an underlying rhythmic message which is being radiated to every cell in your body. Feel the wave of your breath connected to your heart. If you are comfortable doing so, bring one of your hands to your heart and feel the flow. Be aware of any holding of tightness in your field, in your belly, your shoulders, your jaw, even the backs of your eyes. Let each of those places soften along with your breath, going in, going out. As you do so, you may begin to feel a slight shimmering, a tiny vibration as your heart allows your breath to reach all the parts of your body. Everything in sync, everything is whole, breathing. Experience this soft connection of your heart and breath, the unified connection of yourself in a non-verbal way with the world. Later today, and perhaps in the weekend to come, before taking any action, see if you can just pause for a moment. Feel the alignment of your heart with your breath, a flow between yourself and that of others. I have found that when I make the choice to meditate, that it is not just myself who benefits, but my more rested, centered self enables me in my interactions with the world to perhaps bless the world. Let's sit quietly now together in this feeling for a few moments. And while we do, remember you are loved right here and right now, just the way you are. With all that surrounds us today, a leader who lies to us daily, our people deeply divided, even among our own friends and family. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has lost sleep, who has fretted away good parts of our days, worried, concerned about our country, our earth, our future, and all we hold dear. And asked ourselves, as Carole King's song did, one, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Listen to the words of Martin Niemöller, 1892 to 1984. In Germany, they first came for the communists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak up because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Catholics, and I didn't speak up because I was Protestant. And then they came for me. By that time, there was no one left to speak up. Martin Niemöller was a German theologian and a Lutheran pastor who had been a decorated naval war hero. He was a national conservative, and initially he was a supporter of Adolf Hitler. However, he became one of the founders of the Confessing Church, who, along with others, opposed the Nazification of Germany and the German Protestant churches. They wanted to serve the laws of God rather than serve the laws of the Third Reich. For his opposition to the Nazis' state control of the churches, Martin Niemöller was imprisoned in concentration camps from 1938 to 1945, where he narrowly escaped execution. Before imprisonment, Niemöller was definitely not concerned with the active persecution of non-Christians. God rejecting communists, the Unionists, the Jehovah's Witnesses, and the Jews, all of these people were initially rejected by him. After his imprisonment, he expressed his deep regret about not having done enough to help the victims of the Nazis. He turned away from his earlier nationalistic beliefs, and from the 1950s on, he was a vocal pacifist and an active anti-war activist. Niemöller's poem shows how the slow roll of oppression laid out through the policy of Nazi leaders in the early days of Hitler's dictatorship picked up steam to eventually include more and more people. The early silence of the people not targeted by the Nazis emboldened them, nearly unfettered to go after more. His words repeat, I did not because I was not. I did not speak because I was not of the identity of this one or that one, equating denial and silence with a sense of personal safety. If I don't speak, I won't be noticed. I won't be targeted. I won't be hurt. But of course, progression of his writing shows that this was a false sense of safety, for sooner or later, unchecked evil can get to everyone. If only the targeted group speaks out and tries to defend itself. If they are not joined by allies of other identities or of no particular identity, soon there will be no force strong enough to counter the evil before it can do enormous damage. John Stuart Mill's famous British utilitarian philosopher in the late 1800s said, the entire history of social improvement has been a series of transitions by which one custom or institution or another, from being a supposed primary necessity of social existence, has passed into the rank of a universally stigmatized injustice and tyranny. So it has been with the distinctions of slaves and freemen, nobles and serfs, patricians and plebeians, and so it will be, and in part already is, with the aristocracies of color, race, and sex. This was said in the 1800s. Rose Marie Berger, a Catholic poet and writer who has worked for social justice and change for 40 years, expanded on Niemöller's poem with a twist, including many more categories of people. She wrote, "First they came for the Muslims, and even though I wasn't a Muslim, I said, I'm with them. Then they came for the immigrants, and even though I was not an immigrant, I said, I'm with them. Then they came for the Blacks and the Black Lives activists and the LGBTQ folks. And even though I was white and straight, she said, I'm with them. When they came for the hungry and those who hunger for change and hunger for righteousness, I said, I'm with them. I am with the stranger. I am with the refugee and all those who scale the walls for freedom. I'm with the naked, those who stripped of human dignity, those without decent work, without the cost of human compassion. I am with the prisoners, the journalists, the detained, the depressed. She said, when they came for those, I said, I'm with them. I am with them. I am with us. I recently had an opportunity about a year ago, when we used to be able to do those things, to attend a song and dance concert starring groups Las Cafeteras y Contratiempo. These groups self-identify as young East LA Chicanos. Las Cafeteras songs have themes and references that range from the civil rights movement to the United Farm Workers, the DREAM Act, immigration reform, to the hundreds of female homicides at our US and Mexican border. And yet the music and the people, both the performers and the audiences, when they entertain, are full of joy. Not only do their families, children through elders, actually sit on the stage surrounding them while they perform, even in the largest of concert halls. With their music and their dance and their words, they exude deep respect for all communities. Who, you might ask, are these communities? It is all of us. During the last 30 minutes of their performance, the audience rises, and as they are comfortable, they join them in singing and in dancing. Some are invited to enter the stage, and we are invited to respond to them about who deserves love, respect, and justice. And we sing out our answer as they call us to repeat, just us, just us. As this sermon and service was designed to highlight the second of our UU principles, that we affirm and promote justice, equity, compassion in human relationships, I have named it, Just Us. Isn't that what we Unitarian Universalists are saying? I am with them. I am with us, all of us. One of my colleagues, the Reverend Bill Niley, writing about justice, said, before evil, we are one. Before goodness, we are one. Before hunger, before injustice, before homelessness, before violence, we are one. Before grace, before forgiveness, before joy, before progress, we are one. So what am I going to do? She asks, what am I going to do? As UU minister, the Reverend Emmer Stanton, chaplain in Phoenix, Arizona, warns us in considering the poem by Niemöller, and as we discern the possibilities of what am I going to do, he's a chaplain, so he says to us, as we take our steps, be aware of your own health and well-being. Know what your protective coatings are and what is giving you energy and strength in your lives. If you don't prioritize some practices that cultivate love and nurture justice within, then we'll all be looking at ourselves in the coming weeks in the coming months and say, when they came for me and my friends, I was too burned out to resist. Let's not write that poem. So my friends, what am I going to do? I asked Sarah Hunter to share some things that Orange Coast UU is doing, and I'm really impressed. Just a few of those things. She says for the last 2 years, OCUUC has hosted the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, which is centered on award-winning films that are produced by activists for activists, with the environment as its center. Chosen are films that are believed to be of interest as to the public as well as the congregation. And it's part of a larger festival. This year, the festival will be offered by OCUUC in a virtual format from the film festival website, Transforming Filmgoers into Activists. Wild and Scenic Film Festival inspires environmental activism and a love for nature through film. Wild and Scenic shares an urgent call to action, encouraging festival goers to learn more about what they can do to save our threatened planet. The OCUUC LGBTQ Action Group is presenting a course called Transgender Inclusion in Congregations. Over 6 sessions, 1 per month, to explore the intersection of transgender identity, spirituality, and faith community. There is a White Fragility workshop that is focused on reading the book White Fragility, and it's led by one of our members who is a psychologist. Stand Up for Kids. We donate half our plate with this organization that focuses on homeless kids and at-risk youth, transitioning them from crisis to connection. Many of the members of OCUUC volunteer their time mentoring and hosting dinners with the kids. And OCUUC hosts several AA meetings on the campus. Of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention that several Orange Coasters, as well as Tapestarians from Tapestry, have joined our fellowship at Laguna Beach on Wednesday nights for our Social Justice Wednesday Night at the Movies. They're awesome. I invite you to check it out. I believe it's in your newsletter or your Facebook page. So I'd love to see you there on Wednesday nights. And we also have a syllabus so that if you've missed something, you can click on that and you can find that on our website. To my knowledge, this website, this meeting on Wednesday nights is the first time, at least in my experience being here, that so many of the congregations have joined together. And we've been recently joined by an emerging congregation, the Covenant UUs, which is a virtual online community of people from California to Washington, D.C. So we're going to be in touch because we are one. Carole King wrote, poetic phrases come to mind. Whenever I find injustice being done and I wonder, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What can one do except be one, talking to 2, touching 3, growing to 4 million? Each of us is one. All of us is one. Open your heart and let the love come shining through, and you will do what you need to know just where the other you is coming from. We are one. It just amazes me that I can be part of the energy it takes to serve each other. And I wonder, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What will we do? We're going to run, reach for the sun, come together as one, show them how it's done. And at the end of the day, we'll be able to say, love won. Love won. Amen. Let us choose to bless the world. After all, it is just us. Amen. And blessed be.
We will build this house with the strength of our arms, with the love of our neighbors. We will build this house. We will build this house as a shelter.
Unitarian Universalist congregations are fully self-supporting, meaning that members and friends raise all funds for the operating budget, ministries, and programs of the church. We are ever grateful for your gifts of time, treasure, and talent. OCUC amplifies that spirit of generosity by sharing one half of the plate we receive, an organization that shares our values. This month, we are supporting Stand Up for Kids. And Stand Up for Kids, established in 1990, serves homeless and at-risk youth and young adults 25 and younger. They offer programs in Orange County of street outreach, drop-in centers, school-based preventions, and apartment housing support, and just generally just helping out those in need. With that, there are now 3 ways in which you can give online. The first is through our website, www.ocuc.org. The second through an app called Give. You can download it on the App Store for your smartphone, and once set up, you can use it for any of your online giving, including your pledge. The third method is by texting 714-942-1131. Simply text that number and in the message, type the amount. As always, thank you for your generosity as the offering is given and received.
Come gather around, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you'd better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changin'.
Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. For the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changing.
Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall, for he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. There's a battle outside and it's raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changing.
Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend a hand, for the times they are a-changing.
It is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changing.
Please join in singing We Gather Together, a song that puts our intentions into words and expresses our gratitude for the many gifts we share.
We gather together, we gather as one, for peace, love,
Now is the time when we honor the important events in our lives. You are invited, every one of you, whether you're a member, a friend, or a guest, to share in this joyous and sorrowful weekly ritual called Joys and Sorrows. Perhaps you come today holding something close to your heart, moments from the last days or hours even that have struck you at your core. If you'd like to honor such a profound joy or sorrow, you are invited to do so now. You can do this at home by lighting a candle. It's a wonderful way to honor and hold what is in your heart. If you'd like to share a joy or a sorrow with the congregation, you can write it in the chat now. Let's spend a few moments in quiet contemplation as we hear some music. And then I'm going to begin reading the joys and sorrows out loud. Please forgive me if I miss a joy or sorrow, but you can help me not to miss any by waiting to type your comments to express a joy or sorrow until we are finished. From Dina and Bob Melville, they want to express sorrow in the memory of Steve Glickman. From Sarah Hunter, sadness. Today, John Lewis crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge for the last time. Let us make good trouble in his name. From Kathy Lewis, just listed our townhome in Huntington Beach and getting ready to relocate to Pennsylvania. Exciting and scary. From Patrick TC, Bowie has a worry. A friend called yesterday saying that he'd contracted COVID. From Elizabeth, getting the house ready for visitors from Switzerland while practicing social distancing. From Elise James, joy that my cousin is mostly recovered from COVID and back at work, and that his wife and kids didn't contract it. From Lori Kluge, happy birthday, Jan dear, 80th. From Alex Bailey, sadness. An elderly aunt died recently from cancer. However, it has brought me great joy to reconnect with several cousins. From Linda Sperry, joy to see Jan Roven with us this morning. From Jim C., happy birthday to Linda, a lovely young 83 yesterday. From Bonnie Wagner, thanking all my family who are in Tampa, Florida, as they attend the memorials for my children's father, who died last week. And in an email from Jan, today is my joyful day. I turn 80 today, July 26th. I've always wondered how long I'd live. My father died at 43 and my mother died at 94. So when I reach 43 each year after that, I thanked Mom for her genes. Thanks, Mom. Let us hold all these joys and celebrations in our hearts, all the hurts and the sadness, both the spoken and the silent. Let our joys remind us to be thankful, our concerns remind us to hope, and our sorrows remind us to connect. Let all of these moments remind us that we are not alone. We're never alone. May each of us in our own fashion now offer a little prayer for all those joys and sorrows said and unsaid this morning.
Let us join together as we extinguish the flame of our chalice, and say together, we extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Right. We are a congregation made of people who all believe differently. And yet when we gather together, virtually or otherwise, we make up one loving community. We need not think alike to love alike. If you are a guest, a visitor, or someone who hasn't yet been known to us, I invite you to become part of this beloved community, if even just for today. We encourage you to write in the chat your name and where you're from. If you'd like to know more about our church, please see our church website for ways you can get involved and sign up for our weekly email called The Blast at blast@ocuc.org. If you'd like to know more about membership, please contact us at membership@ocuc.org. Our community is enriched by its visitors, guests, and friends, and we hope that they find a spiritual home here. We want everyone to feel a part of this beloved community, so please reach out and we'll help you get connected. After the benediction, we'll have a short period where everyone can wave and say hello, and then those who remain will be put into Zoom breakout groups for 20 minutes if you so choose. We invite you to check in and get to know the people in your group and welcome any visitors. And next, go over some announcements we have today. All right, I thoroughly suggest checking out some really cool things we have going on today. Today at 12 p.m. we have the Women's Circle on Zoom, so go check that out if you're able. And then we have the Transgender Inclusion Series on Zoom today at 12 p.m. and I really check that out. Educate yourself, find new fun things to do. And as usual, we have our schedule of Wednesdays and Fridays and Saturdays, and we have our meditation group, and we have all these cool groups, and I really highly recommend you check these out because we have some really cool stuff going on. So, thank you.
Reverend Lee Marie, I think you might be on mute.
Thank you, Steve. I was muted. I was saying these words are from the Harry Potter Alliance, an international online community. If you're familiar at all with Harry Potter, you can get your wand out right now. Here is how we move forward. Keep loving, keep fighting, Celebrate story. Laugh, dance, sing with your friends, with strangers, with every single person who keeps showing up when the world tells them not to. Resist hatred, resist cynicism. Know that it is necessary to give love and light to all around you. To those around the world, be excellent to each other. Be good, always, always, always. The weapon we have is love. He says, "One's up." Go in peace and return again in love. And now let us sing together our parting song.
Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me.
The service is over. Let our service continue. Thank you.